Hello and welcome to episode 27, I think, of Mouse's Makes. Today's podcast is going to be a little bit different, I hope. I had a couple of questions during the week about would I film a tutorial, and first of all I said no, because I don't consider myself to be that experienced. I'm no Roxanne Richardson. But then I thought about it and I thought, as a teacher of sorts, I used to be a driving instructor, I am aware of the value of having things shown to you in a slightly different way. Sometimes things click with people if you show them a different way to the way they've always been told. So I'm going to try to insert 2 mini tutorials here before I get too far along, because if they don't work, I can go back and I can start filming again. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm taking part in the Stephen West Shawlography Mystery Shawl Knit Along, and I want to show you what I've been doing, but don't panic. I'm going to leave it till the very end, and I'm going to give you a spoiler alert and give you a chance to stop if you don't want to see that. And hopefully YouTube won't choose that bit to use as the thumbnail, because that would be a disaster. So I'm gonna pause you now and fiddle about with my camera and try and get it pointing down at my hands so that I can show you, first of all, how to deal with your German short row double stitch. Okay, hopefully you can see my hands. I am trying very hard to keep them in the frame. So we're knitting along and we come to the German short row stitch that we've got to do. No, we don't. We turn. First of all, I've prepared very well as usual. So now we're going to make our German short row stitch. I forgot that I was going to show you how to make it as well. So that to make it, what you're going to do is you'll turn at the prescribed point and then you slip it. And you'll notice that I've slipped it as if I'm going to purl it. Unless your pattern tells you otherwise, always slip this way from right to left into your stitch, because by doing that you're not twisting your stitch, so that when you come to knit it on the other side of your work, the legs will be in the right position. If you slip as if to knit, you've twisted your stitch. Do you see how this back leg now becomes the front leg? I'm hoping you can see that. So we don't want to do it like that. We want to keep our working yarn in front of the needle, so closest to us, and we want to slip it purlwise, so going from right to left into your stitch. And then you simply pull your working yarn until you've pulled that stitch right down on the other side. You've now apparently got 2 stitches. Then what I do is hold it while I bring the yarn around, pull it nice and tight, and then carry on purling back across the row. I'm hoping that when I flip my video this will all be the right way round for you. If not, I apologise. So we turn our work. Now we've got a row where we've got to deal with that short row stitch. So we knit as normal all the way back to it. And then when we get to it, you can see, if you look at the top of your needle, it looks like a little X, a little kiss sitting on your needle. I'm hoping you can see that. I'm trying to peer. Yes, you can. The mistake that's easy to make is to knit into this leg and knit it as you would an ordinary stitch. And I'll show you what happens if you do that. That's not what you want. You get a big long stitch. So, having ruined it, I've now got to try and get it back. Bear with me while I get you another German short row stitch. Hang on. Okay, so we're knitting back along, and this is our first short row stitch. This is the one that we did incorrectly. You see how we've now got a hole. I'm leaving that for the purposes of showing you what happens, but that's why you get a hole. So when we get to the German short row stitch, get a bit more yarn, what you need to make sure you do is that you go through both those legs. So you've got your stitch that looks like a little X on your needle, and you need to go under both front legs. And I always double check that I've got 2 legs on the back still, as well as the 2 legs on the front. Knit into that. No hole. So that's how you deal with your German short row double stitch. If you only knit into one leg, get a buttonhole, which could be handy on occasion, but probably not what you're looking for, especially if you're doing the short row shaping on the back of a jumper. Not the place for a buttonhole. But if you go under those 2 front legs, make sure between the 2 front legs and the 2 back legs, no hole at all. Apologise if that was teaching you to suck eggs. Those of you that know, I should have said at the beginning, just fast forward through this bit. But that's come up a few times this week with people who are struggling and finding that they've got a long stitch or a hole when they're doing the German short rows. That's the answer. You need to go under those 2 legs. Catch the 2 legs at the front, the 2 legs at the back. Go underneath the arch, because you've got a cross on top of your needle, and your needle needs to go between those 2. Then you'll be fine. No hole. So that was mini tutorial number 1. The other thing that was the hook I need falling on the floor. Bear with me. The professionalism here really is second to none, isn't it? Nowhere else can you get this degree of incompetence. Anyway, last week, I believe it was a lady called Desiree asked me, could I do a tutorial for turning the row on your corner to corner blanket? And I directed her to the Bella Coco video, which is where I learned to do it. And then I thought, well, perhaps, she did say she'd watched several tutorials, perhaps I should have a go at showing her how I do it. She may find it a bit easier. Again, if this is teaching you to suck eggs, just fast forward through. I apologise. Every tutorial I've watched tells you to chain 6 and then treble or double for our American cousins into the 4th chain from the hook, which can be awkward, I think, and difficult certainly for my brain to work out in the beginning. So the way I do it is this: I chain 3 and then I hold on to that 3rd chain. That way I know that's the one that I need to put my stitch into. Then I chain 4, 5 and 6, and then I know I can come back into this one that I'm holding, and that will be the 4th chain from the hook. So I'm just going to complete the little square. It's very difficult to do because I'm trying to peer underneath my phone to check that I've still got my hands in shot. So you've got your square that you now need to turn and join onto here. So all I do then is I flip my work over, and then you can see straight away that it goes into there. I'm just going to show you that again in case you couldn't see it. I didn't think to look. So Once you've finished your little turning square, flip your work over, and where it needs to go is right next to the loop that it needs to go into. And then you just carry on working back as normal. I'll just show you one more time, if I can persuade this to come undone. So again, what I do is chain 1, 2, 3, and then hold on to that chain, hold on to number 3, 4, 5 and 6. Number 3 is that 4th chain from the hook that you need to put your stitch into, and because you're holding it, you don't need to count back. You know exactly which one you need to go into. So finish your little square. This is my new square. This is what it needs to attach to. I'm peeking, sorry. And then I just flip it over and join it on. And away you go. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. I hope it's worked. I hope it's all in frame. If I film all of this and then go back to check it and find that you can't see it, I'm going to be mightily miffed. Anyway, happy to help with any questions you have. Pop them in the comments or message me on Instagram. If I know the answer, I'll give it to you. If I don't know the answer, I'll find someone who does. Anyway, moving on. Sock along is still in full swing. I've lost count of what week we're on. We finish on the 31st of October, so we've got to be... This is me trying to work out how many weeks now. 3 weeks left? 2.5, I think. My sock mojo has been sadly lacking. I blame 2 things. I blame the Stephen West Mystery Cal because I've been very focused on that. Actually, I blame 3 things. I blame the fact that I want to start getting on with my Christmas gift knitting. And I blame the fact that I made a mistake with this cabling. You see here, does not look like the rest of it. And I really don't know that I've got the energy, the inclination or anything else to pull it back and try and sort it out. I very nearly pulled the whole sock down, which is a bit of an overreaction. So they've had absolutely nothing more done on them and won't do until I can bring myself to sort out my mistake. I did start knitting another pair of socks and I've forgotten to put one on a blocker. Hang on a second. I've moved everything around in here. So I had to move stuff a bit to fit my rocking chair in because it's bigger than the chair I had here before. Which means that setting up to film takes a bit more effort and ends up with stuff everywhere. So I started another pair of socks on my birthday and I have finished one of those socks. The pattern is my own. The yarn is Birthday Bouquet from Little Mouse House. And there's a little tiny, literally cast on and then 1 row of, I think it's Signet Truly Woolrich, just in brown. I don't think it's got any other name. So I've completed one of those. And yesterday, while I was on a knit and natter run by Tonya from Calm as a Stitch, which is meant to be for the Stephen West Cal, but I'd finished what I needed to do. I did half the leg and the heel flap for the second sock. So there's a possibility they'll be finished for next week. I've got a couple of other pairs that I really want to knit for the sock along. Not that it matters, because I'm not going to win a prize, but kind of in solidarity with all of you. And that's discouraging me from getting on with the socks that I've already got cast on, because I want to move on to something new, and I know that's naughty and I mustn't do it. So I've been a bit naughty really, sock wise. But while we're on the subject of the sock along, I shall show you the prizes and remind you of how to enter. There are 2 prize threads, if you like. I'm sorry, everything keeps falling out on the blind, and it's an aluminium blind, and so it's very noisy when it does that. I am sorry. I'm sorry about a lot of things. Anyway, the first prize I'm going to show you is for the Halloween thread. So that's a bat fabric bag with a purple lining. It comes with a set of little bat stitch markers and a set of mini skeins from Little Mouse House again, called Troll Music. And if you want to enter your finished socks for this prize, on Instagram use the hashtag #HalloweenKAL2021. You can enter via the Mouses Makes Ravelry group in the Halloween finished objects thread, or if you can't use either of those platforms, you can email me your finished socks at mousesmakes@gmail.com and just tell me which prize that you want to enter for, or both. You can enter for both. If you get picked for one, then you won't win the other one, but there's nothing to stop you entering for both prize threads. The birthday prize thread is this pretty koi carp bag with a flowery lining, a set of stitch markers that are birthday themed. So there is, the jury's out on this one, possibly a Jaffa cake, a gorgeous piece of Battenberg that looks good enough to eat, little slice of birthday cake. I don't know if you can see this. Again, I can't see what I'm doing. And a little jammy dodger. Also included is a sock set, again by Little Mouse House. The sock set is called Scented Candles, and you've got, this says it's a 50-gram skein, but these are 2 10-gram mini skeins, and I would have said that this looks more than 5 times that. But every week I say this and I've yet to weigh it. Sorry, I'm wobbling the camera now. That's the birthday prize. If that's the one that you want to enter your finished socks for, on Instagram use the hashtag #MMBirthdayKal2021. On the Mouses Makes I've really struggled to say that word, Ravelry group, there is a birthday finished objects thread. And again, if you can't use either of those, you can email me at mousesmakes@gmail.com. There's also another prize. I resist saying third prize because that gives the wrong impression. For my favourite pair of all the socks. And that is a specially made Mouses Makes mug and a set of Troll Music mini skeins, again from Little Mouse House. I'm going to link below, if I remember, Little Mouse House's Etsy shop, and the mugs are made by a gentleman who now has an Etsy shop, Roundel Print. If I can manage it, I will link both of those below. He does things other than the Mouses Make mug, but you are quite welcome to buy a Mouses Make mug if you would like.
I'm not sponsored. I don't get any money back from that. But if you feel the need for a Mouses Makes mug, don't fight the urge. Excuse me. It's me choking up my own jokes now. Other than the mystery knit along, which I can't show you, that's pretty much all the knitting I've been doing this week, is finishing that one sock, starting another sock, not finishing that sock. I did feel the urge, as people keep telling me how many days it is till Christmas, despite the fact that I have no desire to know how many days it is till Christmas, I have started on my Christmas knitting. Partly because I'm getting that kind of anxiety that you get when you realise you're leaving things too late and you're running out of time. And partly because two podcasters, which I very much enjoy watching, Amanda from Southern Knits in the Mitt and Karen from A Yarn Tale, are running a gift along, a Christmas gift make along. Although I don't think it has to be for Christmas. And it can be a gift for yourself as well, which is covers pretty much most things, doesn't it? And I think that runs until the 1st of December. And of course I wanted to enter that because I enjoy both their podcasts. And in fact, Karen comes and joins in on the Zoom, which I forgot to tell you about. Sneeze, hang on. No, hang on. Sorry, I'm a very loud sneezer and I didn't want to deafen you all. Yes, there is also a Zoom for the sock along that I'm running on a Thursday, either 11 AM or 6 PM British summertime. If you would like to join in, direct message me on Instagram. It's amandajane.davies.58 for the login details, or you can email me again at mousesmakes@gmail.com. Forgot that bit. Yes, Karen occasionally joins in on our evening Thursday evening Zoom. Sneezes rattled my brain. And I wanted to join in with their make along. So I have started a shawl as part of my Christmas gifting. It's corner to corner again because it makes up so quickly, and because I love the one that I made for myself that I showed you last week. It is so warm and snuggly, and it's brilliant. It doubles as a blanket or a scarf. I just love it. So I'm making another one of those. I mean, there is no pattern, it's just a corner to corner blanket, and I stop when I get a big triangle. And the yarn that I'm using is Stylecraft Dreamcatcher in Arapaho is the shade, and it's 90% acrylic but it's 10% wool, and I don't know if you can see, it's got a bit of a halo to it. It feels much more woolly than it is, and it feels like it's going to be really nice and snuggly and warm. So that is the beginning of my Christmas gift knitting, except that it's crochet, but you know what I mean. Oh, and I've got, look, I'm holding my stitch with my little piece of birthday cake because it just goes with it quite nicely. And that's really all I've been up to. The Stephen West clue came out on Friday morning, and I started it on Friday afternoon, and I finished it, clue 1, I finished on Monday evening, and today is only Wednesday. It's Wednesday lunchtime at the moment, so between dedicating all my knitting time to the shawl, I haven't got a lot done, which is what I feared would happen, and will probably just get worse over the next 3 weeks as the clues and the shawl get bigger. So I'm going to say goodbye to you now. To those of you who don't want to see the Stephen West, I'm giving you plenty of time to switch off and cover your eyes and go la 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 la, whatever it is you need to do, because I'm going to show you my progress so far. I'm going to count to 10. If you're going, see you next week. If you're staying, prepare yourselves. This is your very last warning if you don't want to see this. Okay? I'm going to count backwards from 5 and then I'm going to show it to you. So be sure you want to see it. You ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here it comes. So this is as far as I've got. This is the whole of clue 1. There are 4 sections to it. And I have loved every minute of it. If you want to see how it's constructed, Stephen West does have a clue 1 tutorial video out, and that explains how it's made. So I don't want to go into too much detail, and I don't want to give you too long a look at it in case I get into trouble for doing something I shouldn't. The only thing I will say is that in one of the sections I have changed what he told you to do regarding colour order, and that's the only clue I'm going to give to how mine differs from his. But yeah, if you are interested, go and have a look at the tutorial. Even if you're not making it, it's sometimes interesting to see. I did because I don't know if you remember, I am making out of acrylic because it's my first mystery anything, and I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, and I couldn't afford to spend a huge amount of money, so I shopped from stash, as they say. I bought 1 ball. The navy was the only one I bought, and because it's all acrylic, I gave it a quick steam block when I finished it on Monday night, just to open it out and get a bit of an idea of how it's going to look when it's finished. It wasn't a proper block, and it's not opened it out properly, but pardon me, I'm very happy with it. I'm hoping I enjoy the next few clues as much as I did this one. I won't say I learnt a new technique yet. I'm kind of expecting to at some point along the shawl, because his designs are generally well, they're quite out there, but they usually incorporate a lot of different techniques. The one technique that this one seems to focus on is something that I'm not particularly fond of doing. I'm not going to say what it is, again, for fear of spoiling it for anyone who did want a sneaky peek but is still knitting their own or is going to knit their own. But I can live with that because I'm enjoying the rest of it so much. So that's my Stephen West. Relatively happy with it. Did have a bit of a moment, I must admit. When I finished section 2, I looked at it and I thought, well, it looks like a fried egg. And it nearly got pulled down, and I nearly changed my colours, either completely or just rearranged them. But luckily, I was talked down by some of my knit and natter friends who said it does not look like a fried egg, and essentially stopped being an idiot. And it is meant to be a practice to see if I like it. So far I do like it, and I'm planning to knit it again in some more luxurious yarn, still from stash, but yeah, something a bit more fancy than Stylecraft Special 4-ply. So that really is everything now. You've had a sneaky peek. I've tried to do a tutorial. I don't know if it's worked. I won't know if it's worked until I watch this back. I'm really hoping it has. Otherwise I'm going to be sat here for another half an hour refilming everything, which will be disappointing to say the least. So I'm going to go now and have a look and check that it worked, and I will see those of you who Zoom, I will see when we Zoom, and the rest of you, bye till next week and happy knitting.